Good morning. Today is December the 7th, Pearl Harbor Day for those of us in the U.S. And if you're not familiar with it, I do suggest maybe you go check out the Wikipedia page. It was the day that Japan bombed Pearl Harbor in Hawaii during World War II. So take a minute for that. Okay. And I do that sort of thing. My dad was in the military, so I have much respect for our military. I saw firsthand what a lot of that entailed, and that was during peace times. I can only imagine now. So I've moved over. I've done a lot over on this side. You can see I finished up the drapes. I started working on this pillar here, but I haven't done a whole lot on the other side. I feel like my little blue guy over here, he's been neglected. I'm gonna go over here and do some of that. I do have some ideas, and I actually want to get out my Jelly Roll pen, my gel pen. You can see the little ducky down here. I've kind of knocked back just a little bit of the line that is there. Oh, move that there. So then that helps give the illusion of duck feathers instead of it being just a dark, these are brown, almost brown lines. What I want to do actually, I know I had my greens for my drapes in my hand, but what I want to do is get this flow in here. I'm going to take, and I want to go on some of these and just do the highlights. So I tend to favor left side shadows. So I just want just a little bit. I don't want to completely take away the lime, but I just want it highlighted just a little bit. And so I'm going to do this down here. I'll do it up here too. And I'll let this dry while I'm doing some other things. Because you do want to let your gel pen dry thoroughly before you try. I don't know that I'm necessarily going to go over it, but I might take my little cool gray too. Because I plan these pop-outs to be in the cool gray while the background is the French gray from the Prismacolors. So I kind of want them to just like pop just a little bit more. And that's all. So I'm going to go, I'm not even going to like do all of it. Just here and there. So my working idea currently for the background is I don't want it to take over the foreground here. I want the nutcrackers to pop, the trees, the wreath, the door. I want all of that to stand out. So I'm not going to go too crazy on the background trying to do a whole bunch of stuff. So I'm just picking and choosing here where I want just a little bit of highlight. Just a little bit. So So then I'll match it on the other side so I don't forget what I'm doing, because that would be me. Again, my shadows tend to be, oh, I erased some stuff and didn't fully flick off all those eraser things. So I was going pretty dark here. I think I'm just gonna do just a flat, because like I said, I don't necessarily want it to be too overwhelming. I want it to kind of lay in the back. I want this stuff to pop out. And I may actually do some highlights then on the trees. I'm using the Jelly Roll pen because it's a little more transparent than, say, the Posca. I do still want those lines to show through. I just want them to be muted. And this is the Jelly Roll, the Sakura Jelly Roll is even, it's more transparent than both the Posca and the, what's the other one? The Signo, Uniball Signo. That's a pretty opaque white. So if you want opaque white, those are really good ones. I'm gonna, just a little bit. Who knows, maybe there's some snow. I just want it to pop against that green just a little bit more. And I'm being very random. I'm trying to stay on the line. I'm kind of going inside. Not really. I don't know, do I want... I'm gonna leave it here, and then if I want a more opaque white, I can go to the other two. Figure out what I want. I'm gonna leave this and just see how I feel about it. You know? See how it sits with me. Then I could also do just a little highlight right here where I have the lighter area of the baubles. I hope everybody's having a good day. If you're watching this on YouTube, what are you coloring right now? Is it a Christmas themed? Just what you doing? I love seeing and hearing about other people's coloring. Okay, I think that's enough on that side. Let me go back and do this on the other side. I try to match up what I'm doing so I don't get too lost. So I'm doing the same with the baubles, the red baubles that I did on the blue ones. My 7-year-old, she has what's called a home connection journal. So every Friday, she writes me a little note, and over the weekend, hi, Henny. Welcome to the live stream. I'm still working on my Nutcracker page from Romantic Country 2. Currently using a gel pen to kind of give some highlights here on this tree. How are you? So Oh, so my daughter's got a home connection journal. And it's cute. She writes me little notes about what she did at school this week or what she's looking forward to on the weekend. Hi, Mrs. S. Coloring. Welcome to Livestream. How are you today? And tomorrow I do the bulk of my shopping for Christmas. So ready to get this order placed. I'm tired of sitting on it. So my daughter's got the home connection journal and she writes, you know, cute little things. And well, I've had, you know, these colors sitting on my desk and the stickles and whatnot. So I wrote her a little note back. Let's see, let me do that flag too. Let's see, look, I'm going to start taking this white highlight everywhere. So I wrote her a little note back and then I painted a Santa hat and put some stickles on the Santa hat. And she came down right as I was doing it, so I was like, don't look. She's like, what? It's like, no, you can't look at this until you read your home connection journal at school. So I got out my little dryer and dried it off so I could close the book and give it back to her. So we'll see how that goes over. I'm sure she'll be so excited. All right, so I'm taking the same colors from the green I put around the animals and around the door and partially in the wreath. So I like the idea of using the colors throughout and just keeping it balanced. So those colors were chrome oxide green, my baby earth green here, and then I have black for some shadows. So I'll just go into that and do and then I might work on these. Because beyond, the only thing that's getting more color is going to be the door, the stained glass window, the drapes, and just about everything else will be of a gray tone. So I think we're getting close to the end. I'll have black on I'll do the wrought iron. So try to figure out where the drapes are back here behind this guy. I'm finally over most of whatever caught me from my daughter, but then she got sick again. She was still kind of sick yesterday, and today she was trying to flub a fever. She was like, oh, I don't feel good. I don't want to go to school. I'm just like, no. No, you don't have a fever. You're okay. It makes me wonder what's going on at school. So I'm supposed to have a talk with the teacher next week, which makes me sad. Because my oldest loves school. She didn't care what was going on. Like, there was never, no matter what happened at school, she always went, So taking the black here, just popping in some shadows. Because that is pretty back there. And I keep looking over at the other ones for reference because I want to keep them similar. I'll stay in frame here. I'm going to keep them similar in feel, even though I probably should have done them all at the same time. But last night I didn't color at all. Yesterday I had a headache all flipping day long. And the kind that no matter what you do, it's just not going away. So, of course, I ended up watching The Neighbor Kids for a couple hours, and that, totally helped. Hi, Learning to Color. Welcome to Livestream. Still working in my romantic country. I am bound and determined to finish this soon. I will, though. I'll finish this. I'll do it. I know I can. I mean, I've put so much work into it now. It seems silly to, kind of put it to the wayside, Let me darken up right here so we know there's a definite curve there. I'm going around this hair. I kind of want to highlight his hair. Shh. We're just going to do it. Because why not, right? It's fluffy white hair. Let's do it. And this is the Sakura Jelly Roll, if you're wondering. Get his mustache. The other side of the hair here. There we go, Mr. Fluffy Man. Just gonna do the tops here. There, I feel better about that. All right, going in with the earth green for the highlighted section. I'm gonna be kind of careful around his hair. I did just put Jelly Roll. That was like a really silly thing to do. I should have waited till I was done with this section, but inspiration struck. Pull the chrome oxide green out. I really like this green. It's a very nice green. Works really well with the earth green here. There are some color combos they just work. Pull that out a little bit. Okay. And then I'm going to do the last one here, and then we'll go on to other parts here. We put up our Christmas lights the other day. So it wasn't last night. It was the night before. It was Tuesday night? Yeah, I think it was Tuesday night. It was gorgeous outside. It was like 70 degrees outside. And I was like, you know what? If I don't put up Christmas lights now, it'll get too cold and I won't want to. Because I'm one of those people, it gets cold, I'm like, give me blanket. Give me a heated blanket. I'm staying inside. I don't want to go out. So it was 70. We put up Christmas lights, ate dinner, and we went out to clean up after ourselves and make sure everything was working properly because it was finally dark. And then I was just like, you know what, let's go walk around the neighborhood and check out other people's lights. Got a cough, 1 second. I was like, let's go check out other people's. And so we walked the neighborhood. We did our normal, so we could have walked around the block. We'd have done the larger block, but we ended up going like all the way through the neighborhood on one of our really long walks. It's almost, I think it's just over 2 miles. So we did a 2-mile walk on Tuesday night. It was 70 degrees outside. It was gorgeous. I had some leftover Halloween, the crack lights where you crack them and then they start glowing. I had some leftover from Halloween, so I put those on the girls. Because it was pretty dark out. So, and we don't have like nighttime reflective gear, so I put those on the girls so that they could be seen. We went for a walk. It was really good. Because half my neighborhood doesn't have sidewalks, so. But we had fun. It was really nice. Took some pictures, put them up on Facebook. Had people go, well, you know, if you were back here in Ohio. I like jabbing at my family in Ohio. Like, oh, look, it's 70 degrees. It's December. Oh, I think it was the 5th. It was December 5th. I was just like, ha, ha, ha. I know that's mean, but one year I'm going to get people to come down and visit. I'm going to go up here. Get these little bits. Yeah, it felt good to get out and walk like that. And yesterday cleaned house, made some phone calls I've been putting off because I hate making phone calls. I hate calling. So I did that. Talked to my landlord so we can work out, you know, when the lawn service ends and that it's gonna snow here on Saturday, maybe. They're still not entirely sure. So we'll see. Tonight, my oldest has photography club. She's super excited for that. And then it's family fun night with it's like a book fair. And she wants books. She wants so many books. And that girl has so many books as it is. And at first I was like, well, yeah, we'll get a book or two. And of course, all she heard was 2. So when I told her maybe just 1, because Christmas is coming and Santa always gets her a book. And, some family members asked for some books that she would like. So, and then she's got another Scholastic thing from school that they just ordered. So she's got all those books coming. I'm just like, I mean, how many books? How many books? She's like, I want them. I was like, well, have you read any of the books you got now? Hi, Diamante. Did you want to be in my live video? You just sent that request, so I don't know if you hit the wrong button or what. I think it's where they do the split screen, isn't it? That'd be funny. That'd be actually fun, I think. Have a couple colorists. We color the same picture. Oh, okay. There you go. We'll see how that works. They think of all these weird things. Is it working, Diamante? Or do you want me to cancel? Just let me know. Okay. See if I can. For some reason, my fingers won't let me cancel. That's alright. It's not blocking anything for me. As long as it's not blocking anything for you either, I think it should be alright. Or maybe you can cancel on your end. So what you hit was to do like a split view. Um, and so what it does is halfway in the middle of the screen, I'll be on the top, you would be on the bottom, and we would be live streaming together. If that makes a lick of sense to you. I understand it, but I have a computer background, so. Yeah, I didn't think that's what you meant to do. That's okay. As long as you don't hit accept or anything like that, it'll be fine. I'm not sure how I want to color. I'm having major deja vu coloring under this. I don't know why. Like, I feel like I've done this before. I've done this. It's very weird. I wonder if I dreamed about it one night. Do you ever get that where you're coloring and you get deja vu that you've colored the same thing? Seems a weird thing to get deja vu over. It's a glitch in the matrix. There we go. I'm starting to get just a little bit faster on some of this stuff, thankfully. It is crazy, Diamante, when that happens, that deja vu. I used to, as a teenager, I would get it constantly. I would constantly have deja vu about conversations, homework. In high school, when I was in marching band, I'd have deja vu that I had marched a brand new, um, like we had never marched the set before, but I would feel like I had done it. and I knew where to go. It was very weird. I haven't had deja vu like that consistent since I had my kids. So maybe the kids weren't actually part of my life plan, but now they are. Deja vu is just such a weird phenomenon. I want to make just a little bit of a distinction between these little ruffle things. So just a touch darker, just to kind of past life glimpse, maybe. I always wonder if there's a finite amount of consciousness. Like when the universe was created and all of that, that there is a finite amount of consciousness. And so you do have reoccurring lives. Um, so that would be interesting. There's only, or instead of consciousness, if you want to call them souls, there's only so many souls. I don't know how many that would be, considering we keep going up exponentially in the number of people in the world. But an idea like that is interesting to me. I grew up Catholic. I am no longer Catholic. I left Catholicism when I was 14. So I went a while, but I'm agnostic. Bordering atheism, but mostly agnostic. It is. Past lives are very interesting. I had a friend who, whether or not she was BSing us, who knows, but she would constantly talk about a past life. But it's funny that I would get deja vu over coloring right here. What does that mean? Have I colored this page before in a past life, but it just came out? you know? Or maybe it's just that we're all so connected. Everything. And so if someone is on that same stream of, I don't even know how to describe it. Not necessarily the same stream of consciousness, but not quite soulmate, but something in between. And they were coloring the same thing. Would you then get a glimpse of it and therefore feel like you have been coloring it? Oh, I believe it. There's been so I used to have a reoccurring dream about this brick house on the ocean where it was so close to the ocean, waves would churn over the top of the house. It looked like every military house I ever lived in. But I would meet my friends there before I'd even meet them in life. I would meet them in my dream weeks, months, even just days before. And we'd have a conversation. We'd have our first conversation in my dream before we had our first conversation in life. It was always trippy. Like, it really messed with me for a while. And it wasn't just like friends, it was adults. Like I met my band teacher from high school. I met him in that dream because he was extremely influential. That's interesting, Diamante. See, and a lot of people attribute that to people they have problems with or don't get along with or whatever. They do the astrology, right? So Aries and Virgos don't really get along. My ex husband was a Virgo. Um, my current husband's a Leo. And then so is my oldest daughter. And then my youngest is a Cancer, even though my daughters are 5 days apart. They couldn't be more different. There's just so much that we don't know. I was reading something about the Great Pyramids, about the science that had to have happened to make the Great Pyramid, and the it was not built by slaves like everybody assumed. I forget. It was a Facebook thing, and then I went through a link, and you know how that happens. You just kind of go go Facebook diving, and you end up on the other side with like a ton of information and 6 Wikipedia articles later, and you know there is so much we don't know. Like the Mayans is super interesting. The Egyptians. I'm an Egyptian fan. I love mythology, Greek mythology, Roman mythology, and Egyptian mythology. Love all of that. Um, but yeah, there's so much we don't know, and we won't ever know. I mean, we can analyze this stuff till we're blue in the face, but without like talking to somebody that was there, we really just can't know. And we can make assumptions, and they can be fairly good assumptions and guesses and estimates. But Incans are another. Some beautiful temples. The Easter Island. There's a program recently talking about the link to all the different sites. Which different sites? All the Mayan or Incan sites? Is that what you're talking about? Sorry, there's a little bit of a delay, so all the sites all over the world. That's interesting. So I know a lot of the Native American sites they have linked to structures from the Mayans. I think it was the Mayans or the Incans. Not entirely sure. It's been a while since I read that, so that's so interesting. That stuff just tickles my fancy. Because there was no way for them to really communicate. You communicate by what, boat? By a letter or something? Um, and even then, you can't communicate by letter because you're not speaking the same language. So you'd have to have a translator that knew both the languages. But then there's no documentation that, say the Native Americans and the Incans ever intersected. So it's very fascinating. The other thing is the deep sea. Deep sea is fascinating as well because there's just so much we don't know. My daughter loves. So when the NOAA, NOAA, comes on and does a live feed um, on Facebook, my oldest will sit there the entire time and watch the whole thing. She loves the deep sea. Yeah, the time frames are different. Yeah, we are still finding new species. Um, I was watching one day where they had like you could just hear all the scientists like going, "Oh wow, you see that? That's like we've never seen that." Like they were just going nuts on the feed. You could hear both the guys who were controlling the probe and the guys on the surface and the guys that on land. You could just hear them like going nuts and yeah, they're like, so and so, check it, you gotta check it, You just hear them go nuts. It was so fascinating. Like my daughter was enthralled. She was just like, Daddy, Daddy, they found a new species. They found a new species. It was like a starfish. It was just so cool. And to be able to see that, like the technology nowadays, to be able to be there and witness it, basically. I mean, we were watching them find the species, cross reference it with known species, and we were just watching it all real time. It was amazing. It is so sweet, Diamante, when kids get so excited about that stuff. And my oldest, she really does. She gets it's so amazing. And that's a learned behavior. Like we made such a big deal out of everything she learned. Even if it was just the ABCs or counting, she was 2 when she was just starting to really talk. And she already knew what a hexagon was and an octagon because of the stop signs, and she knew what a triangle was. Because as I drove her um, to the babysitters, I'd point out signs and tell her what they were and what shape they were and what color they were. And we made such a big deal out of every new discovery she made that, she just. I tried doing that with the youngest, and she was having none of it. Like, was not even interested. They're so different. It is very important, Daimanji. It really is. And then her teachers have been really good. Like, I just got an email from the teachers saying that they have opened up a new learning game on the school website for the kids to use about coding. So they go in and they code this little thing to move across the screen. Oh, your grandson's into history? That's awesome. That's really cool. I like history too. I like everything. I'm one of those people where I just I kind of want to know a little of everything. The really my husband can keep his race cars, he can keep his Formula 1. I'm not really that interested in it. Not really that interested in my husband's bicycle hobby, but I listen, and he's doing the Bitcoin now, and I'm just like, so he's all excited, rambling about all of that. So I listen and nod my head and let him ask him questions, and because that's the big part is you just ask questions, and that gets people thinking and excited. And Let's see. I gotta keep an eye. I was really bad last Tuesday about checking when the stream ended, so I'm gonna try to be better today. Yep, reading is so important. We read every night, and then I try to get the girls to read one little book or, a paragraph or two. But my oldest, she has her nonfiction section of books, and then she has her fiction section of books. And if the nonfiction becomes smaller than the fiction, she starts having a fit and wants more nonfiction books. Like for our bedtime story, last couple of nights, we've been reading out of the Reptile Encyclopedia because, why not? Because she wants to be a reptile vet when she grows up. It's just like, it's so funny. So we learn about new species of reptiles every night. Or we find new things to read about or remind ourselves of. Let's see, I want to get a shadow under here. It is amazing what catches their interest. It really is. My youngest is a big soccer fan. She loves soccer. But she's super active. She also really likes digging in the dirt and eating it, which is a little disconcerting. Especially now that my neighbor has chickens. And the chickens like getting in my yard. So now I have like this fear that they're going to get like some sort of chicken disease or something by rolling in or playing in the chicken fecal matter. And I'm just like, oh, they're not my chickens. Why are they in my yard? Because my daughter, my oldest, loves them. She cares for them. She takes care of the chickens more than the neighbor kids take care of their own chickens. I know, yuck, right? So, ugh. But my oldest, she's like the chicken whisperer. It's crazy. They follow her. They listen to her. They don't run from her when she tries to get them to put them back in their coop. So I don't want to discourage. But at the same time, can you keep the chickens in your own yard? Just saying. I'm just saying. Not my chickens. I don't own chickens. They're going to lay eggs in my yard before they lay eggs in their coop. Then my daughter's going to come across it and be like, Mommy. And then she'll want to keep it even though there's no rooster to fertilize the egg. And I'll have to like explain that, which will be fun. Oh well. Yesterday, my youngest decided to try my patience to the nth degree. Like, that kid, by the end of the day, she was grounded. She was in her room. I didn't want to know what was next. Yeah, free fresh eggs are not bad. Like, I'll be thankful for that. Though really, we're not big egg people here. I use it mostly for cooking. But man, I had farm fresh eggs one time, and I made Not a quiche, but like a frittata. Oh, it was so good. Yeah, the choice of parenting. It was one of those days, if she went quiet, something was wrong. So she went quiet. I found her, and she was behind one of the chairs in the living room. Um, Eating, we had just put up candy canes on the tree that day or the day before. And I told her the only time she could have candy canes, we were going to use them as like advent calendar. So you get a candy cane a day. I said, then the only time you can have it is after dinner or your after school snack, one or the other. And she had been begging all day. And like, it was like 9 o'clock yesterday. And there she was behind the chair eating a dang candy cane. She was like, oh my God. She was like, I just really wanted it. Oh yeah. There's so much. When we first moved here almost 2 years ago now, it's been a year and a half. We went to an outdoor market or a fresh market or something like that. And then there was a restaurant attached. We haven't been back since, but that was really cool. Seeing all that, the fresh apples, and I went and had my beef tips and gravy, right? Beef tips on rice and gravy. Ooh, I want to make that. Crap, I want to make that again. Which was delicious, and it was all fresh from the farm. It was really good. I think it might have been at the fairgrounds. Yeah, I can get some good. So my oldest is, her doctor said that she's, just a couple years away from all the hormonal changes, and I freaked out. I was like, "Oh my god, what can we do?" Because she's 7, you know? She was like, "Oh, about 2 or 3 years." I was like, "No, no, 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 no. No, she'll be like 9, 9 or 10. That's not okay." Um, so I was like, "What can I do?" She was like, "Well, first you need to start." She's like, "Do you buy antibiotic and hormone-free chicken?" I was like, "No." She's like, "Well, start with that." So I've started that, and I've noticed that my oldest doesn't start crying at the drop of a hat like she used to. And she's just overall happier. So it's amazing what that'll do. Just buying non-hormone, non-antibiotic chicken and eggs. I do the eggs too. It's expensive, but gosh, was it worth it? I know, too soon, too young. That was my thought too. I was just like I started freaking out. I was like, no, 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 no. She's like, well, if it starts way too early, we can do some, you know, medicines or whatnot. I was like, yeah, I don't want to put her on I'm just like, oh my gosh. She goes, yeah, you just start with the chicken and see how that goes. And it's been a miracle. So now I try to do the same with beef too, but that's a little harder to find. Organic meat, beef, because we're beef eaters too. So yeah, I've been looking at the keto diet. I'm not a big dieter, so me looking at diet is really out of the norm for me. Um, I love to cook. I will use full fat butter. I will use whatever. I just portion control everything. You can use all that stuff as long as you watch your portions. Um, and it's been fine. But I was reading where the keto diet, will help with all those hormone changes so they don't come too early too. So I won't diet for myself, but gosh darn it, I'll do it for my daughter because I can't, it's not fair to her to have all this stuff kick her in early. Oh, yeah, I'm gonna have to go to Whole Foods because they got bought by Amazon and immediately the prices dropped. So I'm gonna have to start going to Whole Foods. Plus, it's yummy. I ate at Whole Foods one day. I forget. I was meeting somebody for Girl Scouts. And she goes, "Oh, meet me at Whole Foods." I was like, "Okay." And since we were there, it was about lunchtime. So went and stopped in for lunch with my youngest. And I had these Chinese 5-spice dusted chicken wings. Oh, they were so good. It was just so good. Yeah, I don't know if I can do gluten-free. I mean, I like bread. I like making bread. I like eating bread. Kind of like just dough, you know, in general. So, I don't know about gluten-free. Um, Plus none of us have any sensitivity. I am sensitive to lactose though. So, for the most part, butter doesn't bother me. Sour cream does on occasion. Um, and ice cream does. But I can't drink milk. That's a big no-no. Yeah, my neighbor's got her kids on a gluten-free diet, and they're so skinny as it is. Like my kids are skinny, but oh my goodness, her kids are like, one's a gymnast, and she's like semi-professional gymnast, and she's like 8, so she's just like muscle and bone. And her other kids are so active, they're just so skinny. My kids are skinny too, though. I can see every single one of their ribs. But they eat. Lord have mercy, do those kids eat and eat. I can't keep food. But yeah, my youngest yesterday, so she did the candy cane, right? And then after we had to talk about how that was not okay and how she has to ask, and she had already asked, and I'd already given her the parameters of when and how she could have that, and I probably shouldn't have let her finish it, but you know, that seemed overly cruel at the time. Now I kind of wish I did, but um, then I found her upstairs. She went quiet. She was playing in her room, and then everything went quiet. Go upstairs, and she's cleaning the floor with a disinfectant wipe. And immediately I knew she had an accident. So then, you know, she's already naked from the waist down in a new pair of shorts. So she was quick about it. So I take her in her room, and there is her entire dresser contents strewn about the floor. And under all of it is all of her PP underwear and pants. And I'm just like, toss it in the laundry. Just go. Just take it all, put it in the laundry. I don't know what's touched it and what hasn't. So just